What if I told you I spent over $37,000 in 3 years just to look like I had money? Not on rent, not on food, not on anything that actually mattered. $37,000 gone just to perform a version of success I didn't actually have. And the worst part? I didn't even realize I was doing it. Here's exactly what I did to stop, and what happened to my money when I did. I was making around $82,000 a year at the time, which sounds fine, right? That's above average. I should have been comfortable. But my take home after taxes was about $5,100 a month, and I was hemorrhaging almost all of it. The BMW lease alone was $620 every single month. Add insurance on a luxury vehicle, that's another $180. Add the occasional maintenance fee that the lease didn't fully cover, call it $80 a month average. So just the car, a car I didn't own, a car I was renting, was costing me $880 every month. That's over $10,500 a year for a car that I would hand back at the end of the lease with nothing to show for it. And then there was everything the car brought with it. Because when you drive a BMW, you start eating at places that match the BMW. You start wearing clothes that match the BMW. You upgrade things around the edges to stay consistent with the image. I'd estimate conservatively that the status lifestyle added another $300 a month on top of the car costs. So the total looking rich budget was roughly $12,400 a year. Over the 3 years I did this, that's around $37,000 spent entirely on appearances. I want you to sit with that number for a second. $37,000. And my net worth at the end of all that? Negative $12,000. I had a credit card balance, a personal loan, and exactly zero invested. I was making $82,000 a year, and I was technically broke. So I set a goal. I wanted to hit $50,000 in positive net worth, real liquid invested net worth within 3 years. That number wasn't random. I calculated that $50,000 earning a conservative 5% in a down year would generate about $2,500 annually just in growth, roughly $200 a month. That's not retirement, but it was the first time money would be working for me instead of the other way around. It was the number where I felt like I'd crossed from financially fragile to financially breathing. So here's what I actually did. And again, this is my experience, my experiment, not financial advice. The first thing I did was end the lease and buy a used car with cash. When the lease expired, I bought a 2014 Toyota Camry for $8,500. Cash. Done. My monthly car costs dropped from $880 down to about $145, just insurance and a small maintenance budget. That's a saving of $735 every single month. Over a full year, that's $8,820 freed up. Over 3 years, that one decision alone freed up $26,000 in cash flow. $26,000 from one decision. I want you to think about what that number means. That's a down payment. That's a year of investing. That's a full emergency fund twice over. And I got there by buying a boring car. The second thing I did was calculate my real signaling tax, and writing it down made me feel slightly sick. I took every dollar I was spending to maintain an image and I put it on paper. The car gap was $735 a month. The lifestyle inflation, the nicer restaurants, the upgraded wardrobe, the keeping up expenses was another $300 a month. Total $1,035 every single month. That's $12,400 a year. That's the price I was paying annually just to look successful to people who honestly weren't paying that much attention to me anyway. Writing that number down was the moment the whole thing stopped making sense. The third thing I did was automate 15% of my take-home into a total market index fund. 15% of $5,100 is $765. I rounded to $750 for simplicity and set up an automatic transfer the day after every payday. It left my account before I could think about it. And here's where the math gets genuinely exciting, because I ran the numbers using a conservative 7% average annual return, which is roughly what the S&P 500 has returned historically after inflation over long periods. $750 a month at 7%, after 10 years, that becomes approximately $130,000. Not because I'm smart, not because I picked the right stocks, just because I automated it and left it alone. After 20 years, that same $750 a month becomes around $370,000. After 30 years, and I know 30 years sounds like forever, but I was in my early 30s when I started. After 30 years, that number grows to approximately $860,000 from $750 a month. That's the math of doing almost nothing consistently for a long time. The fourth thing I did was read The Millionaire Next Door, and I'm not overstating this when I say it rewired something in how I think. The book is full of data, not motivation, actual research on actual millionaires in America. And the pattern is almost boring in how consistent it is. Most people with a net worth over $1 million live in modest houses, drive cars that are 3 to 7 years old, shop for value, and spend almost nothing on status symbols. The book literally calculates what your net worth should be based on your age and income. And when I plugged in my own numbers, I was so far below where I should have been that I had to put the book down for a minute. That formula, by the way, is this. Your expected net worth equals your age multiplied by your gross annual income divided by 10. At the time, I was 32, earning $82,000, so my expected net worth was roughly $262,000. My actual net worth was negative $12,000. I was about $274,000 behind where I should have been. That was a cold shower moment. The fifth thing I switched was what I measured. I stopped tracking income and started tracking net worth. Every month, I updated a single spreadsheet, assets minus liabilities, one number. And watching that number move, even by $500 in a good month, gave me something that buying things never gave me. It gave me a sense of direction, a feeling of building something real. Income tells you what you made. Net worth tells you what you kept. Those are very different stories. So here's how it actually played out. Month 1 through 3, I cleared the credit card balance, put a small buffer in savings, and started the index fund contributions. Net worth went from negative $12,000 to roughly negative $2,000. Small, but moving in the right direction for the first time in years. By month 12, I was at about $9,000 positive. By the end of year 2, I crossed $30,000. And by month 34, just under 3 years, I hit $52,000 in net worth. Goal reached. Ahead of schedule, actually. The unexpected bonus, the Camry needed one repair in 3 years, $860 for a timing belt replacement. That's it. Meanwhile, I was putting money away every single month and watching it compound quietly in the background. The car that felt like a downgrade turned out to be one of the best financial decisions I ever made. And nobody, genuinely nobody, in my real life noticed or cared what I drove. So what are the honest lessons? First, income without intention disappears. I was earning above average and had nothing to show for it because every dollar had somewhere impressive to go before I could save it. Second, automation is the only budgeting system that actually worked for me because it removed the decision entirely. Third, the math of compound growth is real and it is patient. You don't need to be aggressive, you just need to start and not stop. And the warnings, because I have to be real with you. Markets don't always return 7%. There were months my index account was down 5, 8, even 12%. That's uncomfortable, and you should be prepared for it mentally. This is not a get-rich-quick path. It is slow and it is boring by design. And please, none of what I've shared today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm someone who ran a personal experiment and tracked the results. Your income, your expenses, your tax situation, your goals, they're different from mine. Always do your own research. If you need personalized guidance, talk to a licensed financial professional. If you want to start today with one thing, just one, go calculate your actual net worth right now. Assets minus liabilities. Write the number down, even if it's negative, especially if it's negative. That number is your starting line, not your identity. I've put together a free Notion template in the description, the exact net worth tracker I used through this whole process. It takes about 5 minutes to set up and it's completely free. If this video helped you think differently about even one thing, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell me, what's your BMW? The thing you're spending money on right now, mostly for appearances. No judgment. Mine was a car. Yours might be something completely different. I genuinely love to know. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end. It genuinely means a lot. Take care of yourself, keep it boring, keep it building, and I'll see you in the next one.